Hello and welcome to Meditations for Mortals. We're on day 27, so almost at the end. Meditations for Mortals is Oliver Burkeman's volume, a 4-week guide to doing what counts. And day 27 is called Cest, fait, monde, and subtitled On Giving It a Shot. So the French title, Cest, fait, monde, he says roughly translates as people did that, and he says that that's a saying of someone he knew, a French Canadian grandmother. That's what she used to say whenever anybody said about something extraordinary that had happened. That was her response, Cest, fait, monde. He's talking really about the impossible. What do we mean by something is impossible? And he acknowledges that throughout this book, a lot of the things that he's been saying are, well, that's not possible. And there are some things that are just impossible within the laws of physics, reality. We can't be in two places at once. We can't live forever. He gives a couple of other examples and acknowledges that, there may be a time in the future where different things are invented, and we are living in a time of artificial intelligence, so who knows what that's going to bring. And he doesn't really get into that, which is fine because I don't really want to get into that either. But he says there's that sort of physical impossibility. There are also things that as an individual you might think of are impossible. Like I could say me learning to fly a plane and become a commercial pilot, that's probably impossible. Fair enough, it's not something I really need to do or want to do. So I'm quite happy that that's not something that I will be doing at any point in the future. But he says that the subtitle, On Giving It a Shot, he's talking about somebody who said, if we accepted all our limitations, the scientific breakthroughs, technology, wonderful things would never have happened. And he gives the example of Edison inventing the light bulb and Steve Jobs inventing the iPhone. Those things, we may not have ever done those if they hadn't have worked outside what other people said were their limitations. So he distinguishes between these two kinds of impossible. Some of them really are impossible, and some of them are just people implying or saying or helping you to believe that something that you want to do is impossible. He gives another example, quite an interesting one, of L. Ron Hubbard, who managed to create a religion. Now, he acknowledges the guy was a charlatan, a fake, but you cannot deny the fact that he did actually invent the religion. So that brings us back to the French grandmother's response, Cest, fait, monde, people did that. So you can't deny the reality of if something's happened, then people did it. And what Burkeman is asking us to do is to embrace that, as if it's something that we want to do, there's no reason why we can't take steps to do it, make a start on them, push for what we want to achieve. So again, I think it is a fine line. There is that line between aiming for something that genuinely is unrealistic, and he gives the example himself of winning medals for his mathematics. Again, same. My maths is never going to be good enough to do that, but there are other things that I could do that I could perhaps find that they are good enough to be put out into the world. And that's what he's saying is don't prevent yourself from giving it a shot at the thing that is your thing that you want to do. People did that. That is day 27, Cest, fait, monde, On Giving It a Shot, of Meditations for Mortals by Oliver Burkeman, a 4-week guide to doing what counts. Love to see your comments. if you have any thoughts on achieving the impossible, then let me know. What do you think? I will see you next time for the final day of the 4-week guide. I'm Lindsay Milner. See you then. Bye.